Hey guys! I know I missed the video last week. I promise I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. Last week I had surgery scheduled for Monday. I had intended to pre-record a video to post on Wednesday, but I forgot until Sunday night, and so it was too late. So I had the surgery on Monday, and if you remember a few videos ago, I did mention something about having issues with my ear. That's what the surgery was about. So we'll see in a few weeks' time whether my hearing will be back to normal or if it will continue to irritate me. So I was feeling more gross than in pain on Wednesday, and I really did not feel like making myself presentable. And I also didn't feel like putting up a video of me looking bloated and greasy. So I'm doing a double feature today. So in case you're new here, hi, I'm Stephanie Rose. This is my channel. And I am going to start with a quick wrap up of the books that I read last month. So I'll do this in order. Last month I read Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray, and I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really, really good. And I use the word really a lot. I enjoyed it, and I was more focused on like Luke and Han whenever I was younger watching the Star Wars trilogies. This book gave me a really good new perspective on Leia and why she acts the way she acts, and I know that it's explanation after the fact. It's one of the good explanations after the fact type thing. And it, what makes Leia Leia. And I thought it worked really well with the entire saga, in my opinion. Next, I read Brightly Burning by Alexa Dawn. She is a YouTuber on AuthorTube, and this is her debut novel, and I really enjoyed it. This is Jane Eyre in space, and I already had been intending to reread Jane Eyre because when I was a teenager, it was the only time I read it. I was like 15, 16, and I hate to say it, but I hated the main character. And I hated the story. I didn't like it. I hated how much of a doormat she seemed, and I've been meaning to reread it just to get a new adult, mature perspective on things. This book is kind of pushing me that way. So yeah, this was very well written. It's exciting to read young adult sci-fi novels because there aren't very many of those, and I really feel like there ought to be more. Anyway, so that was this one. My husband and I read Beyond Redemption together by Michael R. Fletcher, and this was a very interesting book. Interesting enough to possibly merit its own video. So keep your eyes open. I may just do a video spotlighting this book and all the feelings in the future. And then I read Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. And every single time I had to put this book down, I say, oh, I really love this book. And I would stop in the middle of reading this to be like, I really love, these books. Because they're very well written. Another phrase I use frequently. The first time I read one of Becky Chambers' books, it was her debut novel. This is her third book. I was encouraged because it was the type of book that I've always wanted to write. It was very world and character focused with a slower story. I don't want to say less of a story, but it was less dynamic of a plotline. I don't know. I'm probably describing it very poorly. It was encouraging to see books like that out there because those are the space operas are the type of books that I love. And I love rich, imaginative worlds and interesting people. And she does this very well. So, by the way, I highly recommend these books. And then, lastly, I started reading Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. This is slow going. I'm, like, that far. It's not because it's a bad book. It's just harder to read. I think it's just because it's parts confusing and parts slow. So we'll see. I'm going to try. I'm going to press on, try to finish this book. But she wrote Providence, which I reviewed in another video, and it has kind of some of the same issues with it for me as no clearly defined like how they deal with gender you kind of have to pick up on it. And it feels, this one in particular almost feels intentionally confusing. I don't know. It is really interesting if you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, so those are the books that I read / am still reading from last month. And that's 5 books. So on my TBR for next month, this month, December, Nora and Kettle by Lauren Nicole Taylor. This is a historical fiction. It came in one of my boxes a couple years ago, and I just haven't read it yet. So I'm trying to prioritize some of those as the year ends, and then next year I'm also going to be prioritizing some of those as well. Roseblood by A.G. Howard, which is a reimagining of Phantom of the Opera with a female Phantom. Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. I love pirate books, so I'm interested to read this one. And then the only book on my TBR that I did not receive in a box 2 years ago is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. And I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I did buy it last month, I think. Last month or October, perhaps. I might have bought it at the end of October, actually. And I did not put it on last month's TBR because I already knew that I had a bunch of books that I wanted to read. I had one book that I bought several months ago and never gotten around to reading it. And then Brightly Burning was also a new book. And then I had some library books that I wanted to read. So I decided to wait on this until this month. So I'm finally getting around to reading The Hazelwood, and I'm looking forward to it. Some people like it, some people weren't so impressed. I'm just going to keep my mind open and develop my own opinion on whether or not I like it. If it's an interesting enough of a ride, if it's exciting, then I'll like it, even if some aspects of it aren't so great. So we'll see. All you have to do is entertain me, really. Anyway, that is it for this video. If you liked this video and want to see more like it, go ahead and hit subscribe below. I post videos, or at least I try to make sure that I post videos on Wednesdays, and I'm going to be trying to post them in the earlier afternoon instead of the later afternoon. So right around 3 or 4, I think, yeah, 3 or 4 Eastern time is what I'm trying to aim for now. And be sure to hit like. I will post my Twitter and Instagram links below so you can follow me on there. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye!